Well, this is, I think, the one of the bigger drawdowns we've had. I think 85% drawdowns. You know, we had from 30 back to a dollar, 1,200 back to 200, 20,000 down to 3,800, now 70,000 down to 30,000. At
If
this particular juncture, on this particular one, I don't really think about it at all, which is different than the early ones. So the early ones, because as Stacy points out, the main developing crew, the core developers of Bitcoin themselves were in revolt, and they were talking about hard forking and the big blockers, which wasn't resolved until 2017. But those types of issues were already being discussed, and those would be existential threats to the success of Bitcoin. So the downside was more palpable. The risk reward on Bitcoin right now is one of the most favorable ever. You know, in terms, you don't really have that level of core contention that would be a risk vector. You know, you just don't have it. So at the moment, it's become almost a mature asset class, if you can believe it. But I mean, it's getting closer to being certainly an established asset class, and you have an established group of people owning it. And I would say, you know, this question comes up, and the answer is that if you're buying Bitcoin based on price, then you're not really, you know, you're missing the big picture. So when you buy Bitcoin, it's because you love Bitcoin. I give you like this little scenario. Let's say you go to a flea market and you see a Van Gogh is on sale at the flea market and it's priced at $5. So, and you know with certainty that it's a $100 million Van Gogh. So now there's three options here. You can go to the owner of the flea market and complain and say, this is outrageous. That Van Gogh's worth 100 million, you're selling it for 5. And you can complain. Number two, you can be certain it's a Van Gogh, but you don't even want to put up $5 to own it. You're just not even going to risk $5. You're not going to do it. Number three is you're going to buy that Van Gogh for $5 and you'll be very happy you did. So let's play this out Bitcoin. The first scenario you've got right now, Bitcoin's at 30,000. It's worth, you know, 10, $20 million a coin at some point. So you got a lot of people that would complain about this, like the Christine Lagardes of the world or the Nouriel Rubinis. They go to the regulators or whomever, the press, they complain. Like, look, this asset, I'm going to complain about it. It's worth millions, but you know, it's selling for 30,000, and they just complain and they talk about it. Then the second group you have, oh, it's at 30,000, it's worth millions, but they're not going to bother buying it at 30,000. That would be your Peter Schiffs of the world, who I told to buy Bitcoin when it was $1 and $5 and $10 and $50. But even though the case was clear that it's a new asset class and it could be worth millions, he didn't even want to put up $5. So that's the Peter Schiff crowd. Then you have the third group, which is where we were, where it's like, you know what, this is a new asset class. It's going to be worth millions. I'll buy it at $5. You know, I'm happy with that at the risk reward there. And that's still true today. And at 30,000, it's still dirt cheap compared to where it's going. But you still have people who are going to complain about it, like Liz Warren or somebody that, oh my God, I just can't believe that this thing is out there. Or you have people that are just not going to spend the time to understand it. The Peter Schiff still doesn't own it. And then you have the folks that have put in a few hours of work and said, hey, you know, this is worth millions of dollars. I'm going to buy it at 30. I'll buy it at 20. I'll buy it at 60. I'll buy it at 100,000. Doesn't make any difference. I understand the value proposition. I understand how it exists in the ecosystem of the world of fiat money, and I'm going to own it. So those are the three groups, and it's cheap at 30,000. It's cheap at 100,000.